Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Podcast where we talk about the comedic side and serious side of parenting, life, and relationships. We are boy parents. We have two boys, Enzo and Rhett, with about a 6-year age gap between the two. You can check out our website, freezermilk.com. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. Thanks and hope you enjoy.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. We had our anatomy scan today.
Yeah, how'd that go? I wasn't there.
I know. We apparently have a thumbsucker. Like in utero thumbsucker. I don't think any of my babies have ever been thumbsuckers. Ever.
Well, this one is.
Apparently.
It was obvious because they captured a 3-dimensional picture of it.
Yeah. He kept like on the screen, like trying to put his hand in his mouth. He finally got it and he was so content.
Yeah.
He did a big old yawn.
You were kind of, you were a little off up until this point, like as far as like at least the last week, I think.
The anxiety.
And with anxiety. Kind of walk me through that.
I think it's because of the miscarriages. Like,
yeah.
I just am constantly on edge, like something's not going to be correct, something's going to be wrong, you know. And the anatomy scan is kind of a big one because they look at, like, is the heart forming correctly? Is, you know, the stomach? Is the brain have the blood flow going correct? Like, they look at a lot of stuff. And we see all the fingers, all the toes. So, it's kind of stressful.
Yeah.
But once they gave me, like, the okay that everything was good, I felt a lot better about it. And, of course, like Rhett, this baby is super active. So he just kept moving the entire time, except he like refused to like show his face. He like wanted to like snuggle like into my hip bone or like into my cervix and be like, no. Like for a while he just went head down. And she was like, well, you're a little early, bud. We need you head down like in a couple of months.
Right.
It was funny that she like cracked a joke though.
That's good though. I mean, did you feel any sense of relief from the appointment?
Yes. Yeah. It definitely gave me some peace of mind. It was good to, you know, have them officially say, like, everything looks good. It was good to be able to see him. He's much larger now. Like, he weighs, like, as much as, like, a can of Coke. And then he's, like, 10 or 11 inches long now.
Yeah.
So, he's much larger, you know. He's still, like, his entire torso, I guess, is, like, a width of a quarter, maybe. Like, he's skinny, tall and skinny. Mm. Hasn't fattened up a whole lot yet. But it was interesting to like see her doing all the different measurements, and you know she mentioned like, oh, his femurs are long, and like they're a little bit longer. And I was like, yeah, my husband's tall. She's like,
we got long femurs in this family.
Apparently you guys do. I do not. Enzo today was like, I'm so short compared to everybody else. I was like, well, yeah, your dad and I are short, so
I wonder how he's going to feel when both his brothers
are much
surpass
taller.
His height.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay with it.
Yeah. He'll be the smart one.
He said Rhett got his smarts from him.
Yeah.
He's all, Rhett got his smarts from me. I was like, doesn't quite work that way, but sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
A lot of things happening this week.
You want to give an update? The backyard?
Yeah, the backyard's coming along. We're going to be finishing it quite a bit sooner than we originally anticipated. So we're actually going to we're going to be able to swim in our pool, which is exciting. Since we've been staring at dirt, and before the decking went in, it just sat there for months while we, just the shell of a pool and nothing else, and we just would sit there and...
They finished, put in perspective, they finished all of the decking and then the curbing where the turf was going to go on Friday.
Yep.
It's Wednesday. We have turf installed, we have the fence installed, and we have the pebble sheen in the pool done.
Yep, they're coming tomorrow to do the...
They like cranked out Monday, good to go, turf, or Monday fence, Tuesday turf,
yep.
Wednesday pebble sheen,
yep.
Thursday acid wash.
Yep, they come tomorrow and acid wash and start filling.
It's crazy. Yeah. It went so quick. Like this last week, they like flew through stuff.
Yeah, I think it'll help. I mean, it's going to be nice for our family though, because we've been, especially the last year, everybody's been cooped up in the house. We don't have room to move around. Like we have some room, but we're just cooped up all the time. I think the pool's going to be a huge
well, it's like already,
game changer for us.
Like this morning I woke up and came out and I was like, Enzo, where's Cree and Rhett? And he was like, oh, they're outside. And like you and Rhett were just outside, like on the turf, just relaxing, enjoying. Like it was a cool morning here in Arizona because we had storms rolling in. But just enjoying the turf. Like we haven't even had it 24 hours yet, and we're doing the things that I imagined and pictured us doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
which
it's
is so.
It's an extension of the home, and
yeah,
you know, when it was dirt, it was just hard. You didn't want to go back out there because it was dirt. It wasn't nothing to look at, you know.
Yeah.
And even when they started, you know, putting the pool, or when they poured the pool, it was just concrete. We're like, oh god, I'm so tired of staring at this. But it actually went, you know, surprisingly fast considering everybody else in our area who's building pools.
Yeah. I love that turf. We've gotten so many compliments from like the neighbors because I like posted a picture in our little neighbor group about it, and like all of the neighbors have been hitting me up all day today, like, oh my gosh, it looks beautiful, like, and it's so much turf. Like your yard is so big, and I'm like, I don't even think like our yard is the same size as most of our neighbors. It's just how we chose to, you know, design it and lay it out and.
Yeah, all that exciting
We didn't
stuff.
do as big of a pool as some of the neighbors because we wanted more turf space.
Yep.
I'm so excited for it to be done.
Yeah, me too. Finally get to go swimming.
I love it. My pregnant self will be very excited for swimming.
You can go out there and float.
Yes.
Take some weight off.
Yes. I'm so looking forward to that.
Not that you're heavy.
No, just pregnancy weight.
But anyway.
What else been going on this week? Enzo did something really sweet for you the other day when you were hangry.
Yeah, he made me a sandwich because I was not in a good mood.
He like did it out of his own like thought too. Like he was like, Mom, I think I'm going to make Cree like a sandwich because, you know, he's very hungry and he's a little angry right now.
And then he told on me about ice cream. So.
But he made, I thought it was so, like, no, it's not a wash. It was, he like made it, he washed his hands, he like got the mayonnaise, mustard, like he put intention into your sandwich for you.
Yeah.
And it was just so cute to realize like, wow, like you are growing up so quick, bud. Like it's amazing to see that he has the forethought to be concerned about us. Like he asks me all the time, like, how's your day been going, Mom? You know, or how was your day today when I pick him up from school? He'll like ask me about work, and today was asking about work, and you know, it's amazing to see that thought process working through his brain. Or you were hangry and he was like, I can solve this. I can make a sandwich.
Right.
I'm 7.5 years old. I am qualified.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting to see. How do you feel like you and I have been this past week?
I think we've been good.
We're struggling a little bit, not you and I, but with our nanny's on vacation.
Yeah, that's why I'm so tired. We're trying to work our 9 to 5s, and trying to take care of a baby at the same time is an impossible task, it seems like. And then we get through the day, and you know, it's just a lot. It's a lot because we try to split shifts, so to speak. But we are both very busy during the day. Mm-hmm. You know, at least our working hours. And it's just a lot. I you know, commend anybody that has to do it, because it's not an easy thing to do. That's what terrifies me about having another baby. I'm like, man, if we have another one, there's no way in hell I could work, you know, and you have to work. So it's like, I got to figure out an alternative.
We got a little while. And then maternity
Not
leave.
Very long.
But we got maternity leave for a couple months.
Yeah.
Think it through. Your mom got under your skin this week.
Yeah, she upset me. A little bit.
You want to dive into that?
No, but she's just... I'm doing a project for her because she had some water damage, so I offered to do some work for her for a cost, because her house is nowhere near ours, and you know, obviously my time is valuable. So, but I did it at a discounted rate, and she's just, every time I go over there to do the work, she tries to pull me off to do something else, or She can't make up her mind. She doesn't know how to make decisions. She wants to talk about other things, and it's just my childhood all over again. So it just infuriates me.
I think that's the biggest part that you struggle with is her indecisiveness.
Yeah, she just bounces. She's like a fucking bouncing ball. She can't make up her mind. She can't make decisions for herself.
She gets too many opinions from people.
Yeah.
And she actually, like, kind of loses sight of what her own opinion is.
Yeah, I mean, these people they don't live in your house. Like, they don't know what you need. You know what you need. So, I don't know. It's every time I talk to her, it's hard. It's really fucking hard. Mm-hmm. It's exhausting.
I had to have kind of a difficult conversation with my sister this week.
Yeah. Why don't you elaborate?
So, we've never been, like, super close. The perks of having a narcissistic mother is that they try to pit all the kids against each other. So that we'll always come to my mom for, and, like, tattletale on the other one or have concerns about the other one. So we grew up not close, and it's something that only in the last couple of years, like, we've worked to attempt to have a better relationship because we're extremely distant. Like, we're not in each other's orbits. We're not in each other's lives. I don't know.
Considering we've been together for how long? 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And I've never met her.
Yep.
So.
She doesn't live. She lives on the East Coast, but I don't know stuff that goes on in her life. Really, she doesn't really know stuff that goes on in my life.
What trip did we take where you like asked her if she would like to meet us? And
we went to Charleston, and they live in Atlanta, and it's
what, a 2.5 hour drive or 2 hour drive or something?
It was gonna be like a 4 hour.
4 hour
each
drive?
way.
And we were
willing to meet like halfway.
Yeah, and she was just like, no.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was very weird. We've never, like, as kids growing up, we weren't close, and we've just never been. I have friends and, like my cousin and stuff like that I'm much, much closer with. But we've been trying to, like, be more involved, and so we'll talk, like, once a month on the phone and catch up on each other's lives, etc. And I got really, like, hurt. Like, it, like, really bothered me. She texted me and was like, oh, hey, we're moving in 3 days to a different state, to, like, North Carolina. I just want to let you know. And I sat back like, what? Like, you own a house in Georgia. And I was like, oh, like, what are you going to do with your house? Are you selling it? Are you renting it? And she's like, oh, we already have a buyer under contract. And that just made me be like, wait, what? That the market is not the way it was a year ago. Like, you don't get buyers under contract typically in a day. But more importantly, like, I talked to you 2 weeks ago, and none of this was brought up at all. And so, like, I kind of sat in my feelings and, talked about it a little bit with some friends of mine that, like, hey, like, I feel kind of bummed that, like, I didn't make the cut of the list of people to talk to about this until she absolutely had to. And I thought our relationship was working to a place of being better than that, to be like,
yeah,
I have to tell you, so I'm going to tell you now. But I really was hoping our relationship was in a place where she could be like, oh, hey, like, we're thinking about moving, or hey, we're put the house on the market, or hey, like, I think apparently she's going to grad school to, like, do some classes.
Seminary or something?
Yeah, I think she, I'll get into it in a second, but, like, she was like, yeah, I'm going to, because I was like, well, where are you going to live when you move? She's like, oh, we're doing, school housing, because I'm going to go to school and take some grad classes. And I was like, what?
Completely, your life changed so much.
Like, again, I talked to you 2 weeks ago. None of this, when I said, like, hey, what's new? What's going on with you guys? How's the house? Any projects recently? Nothing. And so, like, I went and, I'm a realtor. So I went and looked. When did they list their house? Oh, they listed it a week before I talked to her. Her house went live on the market a week before I talked to her on the phone. And she still didn't say anything. And it just, like, I talked to her, and I was like, I'd called her, and she called me back, and I was like, hey, like, I kind of want to talk to you about where, something kind of hurt my feelings. And I was like, I don't know if you realize it, but I figured I'd bring it to your attention, because I felt like it wasn't fair to not bring it to your attention. And I just explained to her that I'm really hurt that when I talked to you on the phone, you'd already put your house on the market. You didn't say anything. She's like, well, we weren't sure if it was going to sell. We hadn't had any showings yet at that point. I was like, but still to have a conversation about it, or to say like, hey, we're thinking about moving. We're not really quite sure where yet, or I think I want to become a life coach. And I want to go take these graduate classes to help me become a life coach for people. Like, none of this conversations happened at all. And so I told her, like, I'm just kind of bummed out. Like, I thought that we were in a better place. And she goes, well, I didn't know that you'd sold your house till you told me that you were moving. And I was like, our house that sold the day before it went on the market? That one?
Right. Yeah, it was only on the market for a day.
It wasn't even on the market. Like
8 hours.
It hadn't even gone live yet. It was incoming soon. We got 6 offers.
Yeah.
Because it was a couple years ago when the market was crazy. But it just made me realize, like, the relationship I thought I was building, apparently I'm not.
So what do you think? What do you think affects you most? I mean, you haven't seen her in how long?
About 6 years.
Does that part bother you, or is it that? What do you think it is that bothers you the most about that situation? Because you guys aren't close.
I feel like I share a lot more about our life, and I let her know my, hey, I'm thinking about.
But she seems like she's a pretty private person.
She is with me.
Yeah.
She is to an extent with people, but she's very, like, I guarantee you my Aunt Camille knew she was moving.
Yeah.
She saw her for the 4th of July and listed her house 3 days later. And she's going to live 30 minutes from them.
Yeah.
There's no way that she got the text 3 days before they moved.
Sure.
So I think that's what kind of frustrates me, is I feel like I have been putting effort in for a long distance relationship, and apparently it's falling on
deaf ears.
Yeah, like.
So what do you think you're going to do now, moving forward? It's hard to
probably not invest as much.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because you don't feel like she is investing the time into the relationship that you're investing. So you feel, and she's already obviously doesn't. She's already made that clear that you're not a priority, which is hard. So, and you don't necessarily have the time to continue to, try to make a relationship that's not there,
Like, I took steps, like, I was sensitive about telling her that we were pregnant, because I know that they only have one kid and they wanted more, and it just wasn't in the cards. So I was sensitive about how I approached that with her. And yet, I get a text 3 days before you move states, change your career, and go back to school.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that was what hurt the most. I was just like, I put a lot of thought and, in my opinion, like, effort into trying to build a relationship and be sensitive to your needs or your concerns. And I try not to cuss when I'm on the phone with you, and I try to not make assumptions about, your lifestyle or whatever, like, because she's much, much, much more conservative than we are. And so I try to, like, tone down my conversations to be more conservative when I talk with her. And
well, so it's not like, so what you're saying is she wouldn't like our podcast.
No. No. But it just made me, I think that's what made me so bummed, is I was just like, wow, I really thought we were closer than this, and apparently we're not.
Yeah.
I told her that too. I said, I thought we were at a closer place in our relationship than getting a text 3 days ahead of time. Regardless of the fact if you didn't know where you're going to move to, or you didn't know if you're going to sell your house, like, you still could have had those discussions. Hey, we're thinking about doing this. But she was like, well, yeah, we're, and then she threw the thing about our house out there. And I was like, okay, well, maybe one day we'll have that type of relationship. She was like, yeah, maybe. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. It's fine.
Yeah. Well.
And then I have my best friend in Brazil, who I tell her I teach Enzo a card game, and immediately she, like, runs and grabs the same card game that I taught her and gave her deck of cards before she moved to Brazil from the U.S. Like, went back to Brazil like 15 fucking years ago. And she's like, oh my God, I have it right here. I play it all the time. I love it. It's my favorite. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Or she sees pictures, you know, you talk to her for like 2 seconds and she sees pictures of Rhett and she's like, oh my gosh, it's crazy mini me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she's actually met you. She flew from Brazil.
Yeah.
And has met you.
Your sister couldn't even fucking travel 2 hours to meet us.
Yeah.
So you kind of know where you are on that, and I wouldn't waste too much time on it, to be honest with you.
Lack of family lottery.
You know, we weren't blessed with all that. So, but we'll make our own family.
Yeah, it's tough. I think you'd said it recently, like the older we get and the more interactions we have with siblings and extended family, the more we realize that we don't really have relationships with them.
No. And I talk to my sister, I don't know, realistically we talk probably every couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. She'll shoot me a text or something like that. But it's very surface level, just she's checking up on me, you know, and then the conversations I have with my mom are lacking. And I don't ever talk to my father, so, you know.
You had a panic moment today, or yesterday. You were like, should we just call my mom to come help out with Rhett?
Yeah, I'm glad you talked me off that cliff.
I was like, that's a terrible idea. A, she doesn't help. B, she's just going to talk your ear off, put you in a bad mood. You won't be able to get any extra work done because you'll either not be able to, like, ensure Rhett's safety with her watching him because she just doesn't pay enough attention, or she'll be bothering you.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what happens every time she comes to the house.
I was like, it's not the solution here. We'll figure it out. We'll make it through.
Yeah.
Anything else exciting this week happen?
No. Got some projects going on around the house. Rhett likes to get into everything, as usual. He likes to hide in the cupboards. We had to remove some drywall in the house, so naturally he went for the insulation and drywall.
He tried to eat fucking drywall. Enzo's the one who caught it. He like picked at the drywall where they cut it open and like grabbed a chunk of it and tried to put it in his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about right. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a week, and it's only Wednesday.
He's our wild child. Hopefully, next week, when we touch base with everybody, we will be swimming.
Yeah. We'll be in our pool. I'll be on my floaty. My virgin daiquiri. I got to teach Red how to swim.
Yeah. Enzo's really excited to show us, like,
how good he's gotten.
Yeah, he was talking about it today. He was asking if I was excited to see how much he's improved.
Good.
I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
He was like, I was pretty bad before. I was like, I don't think so. I think you were doing great compared to where you were when you first started swimming.
Yeah. Yeah, he was terrified of the water.
Right? I was like, you're doing amazing. I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
I'm definitely, what was it? We were talking the other day. We were, what were we talking about? We were like, man, it's already, something came up and we were like, holy shit, like fucking Christmas. Oh, we were in Sam's Club or Costco. I was. And they had Halloween decorations out.
It's less than 100 days.
I was like, holy shit. Like, this year blew by.
It goes faster and faster the older you get.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think, like, this baby's going to be here before we know it.
Well, that's what,
the last 3 weeks will drag.
Yeah, I'm hard on myself because I'm like, these moments with Rhett can be very difficult and exhausting. But at the same time, like, it's the only moments I'll ever have with him at this age. And at this point in his life. So I'm, like, trying to figure out a way to not let it bother me as much. And I feel like I'm doing a little bit better with it, but it's really just, it's hard. It's hard to do.
Yeah. What was it the other night? I put him to bed. Oh, you went to a movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was fun. What was that? Saturday? Sunday?
Yeah.
Like,
Saturday.
You weren't feeling good, right? And it was just me.
I was feeling terrible. I was fighting, like, some kind of bad food bug.
Yeah, and you just didn't want to move. I'd been cooped up in the house all day. The baby was asleep. We put the baby to sleep for bedtime.
He wasn't asleep yet. You got him ready for bed.
I got him ready for bed, but
you're like,
Enzo wasn't
here. A movie?
Enzo wasn't here. I was like, I'm gonna go to a movie, and you like freaked out, and I'm like what's happening here? I think it was like a kind of a misunderstanding, but it's just like you said. We kind of summed it up to the fact that it's out of character for me because I don't just go to movies by myself.
When's the last time you went to a movie by yourself?
It's been a while.
Over 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've never done it while we've been dating.
That's true. I mean, just sometimes you need to get out of the freaking house.
I 100% agree. But it was super out of character.
Yeah.
And then I have former relationship trauma that comes up.
Yeah.
About people like going to things solo when they actually were meeting other people.
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of have that talk with you. I waited till like 2 days, I think, after your movie.
Yeah.
To kind of, because I really wanted you to go. I really didn't want to be like, no, I'm not okay with this. Because I was like, I do trust you. It doesn't sit well with me, and that's not a you thing. That's a former relationships. People have burned me this way.
Yeah.
And so it sets off my radar, even though you haven't done anything like that ever. But I was like, it's super out of character. It just makes me feel weird. Plus, I'm sick of shit. So you're like, oh, you're super sick, gonna dip out.
It wasn't like that. I made sure you were taken care of.
You did.
I left you with your water and your Gatorade. You were probably fed. The baby was ready for bed and in bed, so all you had to do was watch your TV.
It was so funny, though. Like, when I put him in bed and you got home later, you were like, I miss putting him to bed. I was like, what? You're like, yeah, because he, like, snuggles his head on my shoulder, and I love it.
Yeah, that's our thing. That's like, that makes all of the day worth it.
All right.
The day is hard.
And he goes, night-night.
When he does his night-night, puts his head on my shoulder, and he's just out.
He just loves it. He loves to snuggle you. Mm-hmm. And scratch your face. And
hold my nose.
Yell. That's his newest one. Yell.
Anyway, it's been an eventful week.
It has.
We'll keep you posted on the pool. We'll let you know because we're told we can use it this weekend, so we're looking forward to it.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see what happens.
All right, thanks for listening.
Bye. Thanks everybody for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.